Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Have another Kamen Rider build review for you today. This is Bottle Change Rider 02 Kamen Rider build Gorilla Mond form. And this is kind of the second major form that we've seen in the show. Obviously Rabbit Tank is his like default or primary form. This is kind of the second best match that we've seen. I think it's pretty cool. You know, the combinations are definitely wacky. First you have Rabbit Tank, now you have Gorilla Diamond, or just Gorilla Mond. But the packaging's pretty cool. Nice picture of the form up here. You have a little bit of a window here into the two halves. Picture of the figure down here. Picture on the side. That's just kind of the arm from the form picture up here, kind of bleeding over to the side. Not really much going on there. On the back, just kind of shows you how to snap them together. And then it also talks about Hawk Gatling that's coming out, I think, later this month. And then it shows you mixing and matching them all, which, of course, is the big draw of this line. I like this picture here, too. It's pretty fun. So, not super intricate packaging, but I like the window. I think that's pretty neat. The packaging really reminds me of the Double Form Change series, which I think is what they're going for, because obviously these figures are very reminiscent of that line. Somewhat similar gimmick. So I like the packaging. I think it's fun. Let's go ahead, get this guy out of the package, and take a closer look. So here is Gorilla Mond out of the packaging. I think it's pretty fun. I've always thought that like the brown and the light blue kind of go well together because you have like a darker color and a lighter color, so it kind of offsets. I really like the design for the head. I've always thought that's kind of fun. You have this gorilla face here, and then like an arm with a hand sticking out, and then you have the diamond with the sparkle for this eye. I always think it's neat how the eyes are, you know, a design that pertains to the form. So that's pretty cool. And then while we're here, you can see the driver with the two bottles, and they're matching, which is, I should say match the color scheme. They're actually painted, which is very nice. And then you have the full bottle holder here on the side. Now, unfortunately, on the show, he can kind of, like, there's a little bit of a hollow piece here in the fist, and he can put it on the crank to turn it, but that's not the case here. This is a solid fist. I was hoping that you'd be able to kind of bring this maybe back, but I guess the arm can't really make the pose anyway. That's about as far back as it can get. So I guess that's why they didn't bother. But overall, I like the look of him. You can see he's got a diamond here for the shoulder pad. And then I guess just so it was kind of symmetrical, they gave him a similar kind of shoulder pad over here. Unfortunately, they do hinder the arm articulation a little bit as far as in and out to the side. But you can still go completely forward and back. And then you have, of course, your bicep swivel 90 degrees in the elbow. This side has the normal wrist and two sets of fingers, as per most rider figures. And you can see some detail here on the side with the diamonds, although mine seems like a little dirty or something. I'm not really sure what that's about. And then on this side you have the giant gorilla fist. Now this can just swivel. It obviously doesn't open and close in any way. And you have pretty much 90 degrees in the elbow, but not complete 90 degrees, maybe like 85, 80, something like that. And then of course you have the same bicep swivel as usual, and then hips are pretty much your standard hips. Thighs swivel 90 degrees in the knee, and then ball joint in the ankle. So the legs are pretty standard. Really the only thing that's hindered is a little bit of shoulder movement, and then this is a special fist that can't open and close, but it makes sense for what it is. He does come with this gun version of the drill crusher. We got the sword version with the first release. So now you do have both. Very nice detailing, a lot of molding in there, just no paint. It's just molded in solid black, which is pretty standard for these kind of rider figures. So you can obviously only hold it in the one hand, but looks pretty cool. And of course you could swap this with any of the other figures. Any of them could use these accessories. So, see what kind of pose I can get here. And of course there's no head articulation, but that's going to be pretty much par for the course for this line because of the gimmick with separating the two halves, you're not going to be able to get any head articulation. But there you go. You can hold that. But the big draw of the line, of course, is to switch the sides. So there's a button here on the back. And it is nice that the belt for the driver goes all the way around. I like that. But there's a little button right here. You push that in to separate these. I can never remember why this doesn't work. Which side is this connected to? I can never remember. And that's my fault. I just can never seem to get a good enough grip. There we go. Okay. So the blue side, it's just a little difficult, basically, because this little tab here, this little peg, goes into this spot here. If we can get the lights to cooperate. So when you push that in, you're just kind of pushing a little thing in the back. You can kind of see it moving to pop out that peg. But I always have to remember which way to grab it. So I want to clip it in, and then I want to push this while I'm pulling on this back leg. And there you go, pops off. Once you know which side to grab, it makes it much easier. But yeah, so that's how the gimmick works. I'm going to go ahead and bring in Rabbit Tank and switch off the sides so we can take a look at the different combinations we can make so far. So here we go. I brought Rabbit Tank in and I switched the sides out. I think the red and the light blue work pretty well together. I like that. The brown and the dark blue, they look alright, but they're kind of two dark colors together, so it seems a little too dark. So these two I feel like don't go together as well, but I still think it looks neat. I just think it's cool that you can swap them around. I think it's a fun gimmick. I'm excited to get more. Like I said, Hawk Gatling comes out, I believe, next week from the date of this recording. It's like the 14th of October, I believe. So once that happens, we'll have a third one. We can swap out more. And then I know later on, I think November, we're getting Line Cleaner, Hedgehog, Fire Engine, and Nin Comic. So I believe all three of those are coming out in November, but I could be wrong. One of them might be December. I'll have to go back and check. But once all those come out, you're going to have tons of combinations you can do. It's going to be a lot of fun, so definitely looking forward to that. But so far, these are the two that you can do. Now, obviously, there's nothing you can do about the colors for the driver. They're going to be wrong if you... I mean, at least with this one, they kind of look like they work because both of these are blue. It's just a lighter blue and a darker blue. But once you get to, like, orange and other things, you're not going to be able to do anything and the colors won't match. But nothing you can do about that. I'd still rather have them painted than unpainted, because the only other option really for them would be to leave them black, which I could have seen them do, but I'm glad they didn't. I think it looks pretty fun. So, very neat. I like that you can switch them out. I think this guy's a lot of fun. Mostly I'm just excited to have a second figure in this line so that you can swap the halves. Rabbit Tank was a really nice figure, but by himself, there wasn't much you could do. But now that I finally have a second one, you can switch those halves and make new combinations, and that's always fun. I definitely think the big appeal of this line is going to be the more you collect, the more different combinations you can make, and so that's going to give you a lot more play value. You know, the more you get, the more you can do, and that kind of thing, which I'm sure is what Bandai loves because it keeps you buying more and more. But I think it's a fun figure. I like Gorilla Mond as a form. I really like the light blue for Diamond, and I think that's going to work with a lot of other colors coming down the pike. I love the inclusion of the gun mode of the Drill Crusher, since we already got the sword version with Rabbit Tank, and now you have one of each, which I appreciate. Yeah, I don't really have too much to complain about. The only thing I would say is the bulky shoulders kind of impede the arm articulation. With Rabbit Tank, you could get, you know, obviously more out to the side than you can with Gorilla Mond, but I think in the long run it's not going to be that big of a deal because we're going to have a lot of these by the end, and you know, there are going to be other figures that you can swap in and out pieces, so you have one side with articulation and one side with a little bit hindered articulation, and so on and so forth. So that's my only minor complaint, is the bulky shoulders. Otherwise, I think it's a really fun figure. I like it a lot, and I'm definitely excited to continue collecting this line. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like and share this video, and please subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you've enjoyed this look at Bottle Change Rider 02 Gorilla Mond form from Kamen Rider Build. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching.